going on, guys, and welcome back. I was debating on whether to do a Rambo Last Blood Revisited, and despite the last video I did, which was on Sid Haig's untimely passing, which was untimely, and that's the reason why I did it. It just came out of nowhere, and I just had to get that out, because I'm somewhat of a Sid Haig fan. I love The Devil's Rejects. Wasn't that fond of House of Thousand Corpses, but I guess I could grow on it sooner or later. I thought he was a pretty cool actor. In essence, I knew I was going to see Rambo Last Blood again with my dad, which is who I went with, and I just had to do a revisited. And since I did my first review, I've been hearing a lot of complaints about this, and really I don't see it. Everybody's calling this movie as racist or whatever you want to call it. People are just whining left and right. I really don't see what the complaints are, and they're saying stuff like, oh, Mexicans are druggies or sex traffickers. If you just turn on the news, some of them are. So stop whining. Can we just enjoy a movie about an uncle who is taking revenge on the death of his niece? Can we just enjoy something like that? You know, it's Rambo. Duh. Anyway, let's get into this review. I've already spoiled a little bit of it, but of course, as you know by now, by the title of this is a spoiler review. So let's get into it. Okay, as everybody knows, John Rambo in this, you know, he goes to Mexico after finding out his niece is trying to find his dad who lives in Mexico, and finds out that she never came back. You know, something's wrong. So, being John Rambo, the guy that he is, goes up there and he tries to find her, and he finds this drug cartel that finds out that they're the ones that kidnapped her and is using her for sex slaves and all that. And, you know, of course he gets beaten up, and they show a little bit of a vulnerable side. I know in my last review I said that you wouldn't know that he's the age that he is, which is 73 years old, because the way he handles himself by the third act. That's what I was really referring to. But they do humanize him. He is mellowed out a little. This Rambo movie is very different. It's tied in with Logan and Home Alone. Like I said, it is very different.
I've lived in a world of death. I've watched people I've loved die. Some fast with a bullet. Some not enough left to bury.
But, you know, he goes up there and he gets beaten the hell up, and you got to do that sometimes, I think, for the intensity, for you to really feel for him and for you to really hate these scums. I mean, these bad guys, these Mexican drug cartels, it really makes you really want to hate these guys, and that's good. For a movie of this magnitude, that is good. That means it's doing its job.
You must really want this girl.
My dad, he really liked it. He thought it was kind of gory for his taste, but hey, it's a Rambo movie. Yeah, of course you're going to have a lot of blood and gore. That happens to him, and days pass, and this girl takes him in. Sylvester Stallone, he's well endowed to become a really iconic actor, and I really love the way he plays this part. I'm not going to go through the typical who stars in it and all that, because it's like I said, it's a revisited, it's a spoiler review, so I'm just having fun with it. I'm just jabbering on. So that happens, and several days pass. He heals up, and then he finds his niece, and very sadly she dies. But you know, that gives Rambo the push for what comes later. And oh, is it glorious. Brings her back home, buries her in Arizona, where he stays, where most of the first act he's like riding around on horses. Like I said, he's adapted to life. I mean, he confirms that he hasn't changed. He's still the same man he was in the war and through the first 4 films, I assume. But he puts a lid on it. He's controlling it. And they never really confirmed the lady that stays with them. I assume that's the aunt, but I later confirmed that the woman that dies, the girl that dies, his niece, is like his only living relative left. I mean, there's nobody else. And the dad, the scumbag of a dad, I have to say it that way. After you see the film, you'll see why. I think it's like his brother twice removed or something like that, but not blood brother, like a brother-in-law or something. So he buries her, and then he starts setting up everything. And this is where the Home Alone thing comes in. See, like I said, when I did my first review, I didn't bother to check out any other reviews or anything. I try to make it my own. Every review you see in my channel, I try to make it my own. I try to make it my own originality. It is my own style. So for those of you who support my channel, I really do appreciate that. But he starts setting up everything Home Alone style. He does like traps, booby traps. There's this tunnel that he apparently, from the fourth Rambo movie, this is like 11 years ago, he had built around that farmhouse underground. And that becomes a huge part. It shows it like right away when the movie starts. It becomes a really big part by the third act. And by that time, you can really see the hate, the gruesomeness of this man. I mean, you always knew Rambo was the way he was, but the way that he gets back at these guys, ugh.
I want them to know that death is coming.
You see, he first goes back to Mexico after he sets up everything at his home in that tunnel, and he comes back for one of the brothers of the leaders of those cartels, chops his head off. It didn't really show it, sadly. I really wish it would have showed that. But as like a signature, it's like, come and get me, you assholes. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to cuss, but this is just so fun to talk about. Because I love the fact that Rambo gets these guys back in the way he does. Some might say that it was a little too out there, but I'm not some people. I really loved it. I really loved seeing every inch of blood dropped that Rambo provides from these guys. He goes to Mexico, he kills the one brother, and that's a way of saying, come and get me. So they do, because they got his license earlier, so they knew where he lived. Yeah, they have no idea who they're freaking with. They go for him, and all this crazy crap happens. And it does turn into a little bit of a slasher. It's like a slasher meets Logan meets Home Alone. It's like Kevin McAllister meets Logan meets Jason Voorhees. There you go. And it's very vicious. The gore level, at first the movie does kind of take a backseat to the action. It is a little slow, and the cinematography and the lighting and all that was a little flashy there. I did see some problems, like second time going around. It takes it a second time for me to actually notice like certain problems. Most of the time I'll notice problems the first time, but the second time I'll really start noticing it. The cinematography and lighting was decent, but it could have been improved. This was a very dark movie. You could tell that some of the dialogue that Sylvester Stallone had was cut out, and there's a reason for that, because I noticed like in some of the other films, after the First Blood, he started going on these taglines. Like with the last one, he was like, live for nothing or die for something. The way he delivered his lines in this, though, it didn't really deliver that much. Now, I don't know if that has something to do with his age or what. No offense to the man. No offense to Stallone. But I don't know. Just something about the dialogue in this and the way he would deliver his lines felt a little lazy. But, hey, it's a Rambo movie. I can live with it. I didn't hate it. I still powered through it. And it was still enjoyable to watch. So that whole third act, once everybody was like slaughtered and just taken care of Rambo style, what he does to the head guy, to the other brother of the cartel, woo. Now, going back to what I said about how some people thought that was a little too much, I don't think so. Now, call me sinister, but I loved it. I think this was the most gruesomest, up close and personal Rambo that I've ever seen because of that scene. Now, you had the scene where he shot up everybody, cut that guy's head off at the end of Rambo. That was with a machine gun, and that was like quick. And the way he took care of the bad guy in that one was like quick to me. It didn't feel that personal. But the way he took care of the bad guy in this, in Rambo Last Blood, oh yeah, that was personal enough for me. It took every ounce of my being not to cheer.
And there's nothing they can do to stop it.
And the way it ends, it kind of did end like Logan. And again, this is a spoiler review, so you knew what you were getting yourself into. But he didn't die. But he just sits on that chair, and he delivers these lines to where I thought it was kind of I thought it was good enough for the ending of the series. And he would say, all of my family, everybody I knew are ghosts. I'm paraphrasing. He's like, and I will fight for their memory forever. I like that. I like the way he delivered that. Now, one could probably assume that he probably does die because he did get shot a couple times. And it looked like in some pretty vital organs, especially like down here in his stomach, on the side of his stomach. I'm not an expert of what vital organs thereof, but it looked pretty bad. But he just sat there in the chair, and there was nobody there but him. Especially after he took care of everybody. There's nobody there but him. The lady left after she found out that the niece died, and like she was so sad. And you know, speaking of that, I know I just gave you the full movie and all, but the way that was delivered with the niece dying and all, it made me tear up. Now, I know a lot of people are saying that the acting was bad in this. I mean, yeah, like I said, the dialogue that Stallone delivered, it wasn't as strong as the last, especially as the last one, with the punchlines and all, but I thought the acting was pretty good. I mean, for what it was. And going back to what people are saying about this, about how racist it is, go look on the news. You can see that Mexico, some of the people up there are actually like that. There are cartels up there. And I have no doubt in my mind that there are girls up there that's being sold for sex. I mean, sex slavery, drugs. I have no doubt that that happens in real life. So what's y'all's beef? I mean, seriously. Stop downing a movie just because you don't really know what happens out there. Now, I'm the first to admit, I don't travel. I don't know what goes on out there, but I'm watching the news. That's all I'm saying. I watch the news, people. You'll see that they're actually like that a little. Now, how far-fetched that they had proceeded in this movie about the characters in this movie, I don't know, but I just think that some of the reality in real life was actually told in this movie. So I think we kind of need to lay off the racist crap. I mean, it's a movie about a guy getting revenge, and it's Rambo. I mean, just enjoy the movie. Enjoy the carnage. Enjoy it for what it is. That's my spoiler review for this go around, and I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, this is just something I did not script, and I try to be as truthful as I can, even the ones that I do script. Like when I write them down, I just say what I feel. I never want to lie to you guys, but sometimes I just feel like I need to watch something a second time, and I'm not the only one that does that either. Rambo: Last Blood, the rating does kind of change. See, in this circumstance, I'm gonna give Rambo: Last Blood a B-. I still love the hell out of it, but I do see some of the problems second time around that everybody was talking about, other than the racist bullcrap. Just cut it with that crap, please. It's Rambo, Sylvester Stallone, kicking butt, taking names. That's all you need to know. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. I do have an unboxing / new release Blu-ray haul video coming up. That should be in the next week or so. I'm still in the middle of it. And I'll explain in that video what I mean by that, why it's taken me a long time. There are several movies week after week that's been released that I just wanted to wait on until I could get that video processed. Like, subscribe, get reputized by clicking that bell icon. Click all so you don't miss any of my posts. And peace the rip out.